This is Meenakshi Birari, working as a assistant professor in chemistry at Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samaj, Nasik. Since from last few lectures we were discussing about polymer chemistry. In previous lecture we have studied properties and applications of natural and synthetic rubber. Now in today's lecture we will study vulcanization of rubber and processing of rubber. We know that natural rubber is obtained from latex and latex is obtained from rubber tree. Natural rubber is a polymer of isoprene, that is 2-methyl-1,3-butadiene with molecular weights in the range of 3 lakh. That means natural rubber is a high molecular weight linear hydrocarbon polymer which exhibits elasticity and other rubber-like properties. Natural rubber is obtained from the latex, which is white liquid, and it is present in rubber trees. There are number of varieties of rubber trees from which the latex can be obtained. The latex contains about 30 to 40% rubber solids and 55 to 60% water depending upon the age of tree. We know that natural rubber consists of repeating units of isoprene, that is 2-methyl-1,3-butadiene, and these isoprene units join to each other in cis geometry to form polyisoprene, that is polymer of natural rubber. So isoprene undergo polymerization to form polyisoprene natural rubber, and we should remember isoprene units join to each other in cis geometry. So already we have studied in detail about natural rubber. Now let us see the properties of raw rubber. So what are the properties? The natural rubber is an amorphous solid. It is soft. It is sensitive to heat. The elasticity decreases over time, and also it is easily oxidized by air. Since it is colloidal in nature, it has no definite melting point or boiling point. It becomes soft and sticky in hot summer, while in cold weather it becomes hard and brittle. So number of properties are there related to natural rubber, raw rubber, and this one is the structure of polyisoprene. In previous lecture we have discussed the structure of natural rubber. Now first of all we will see history of vulcanization. Vulcanization of rubber was discovered in 1839 by the US inventor Charles Goodyear. Thomas Hancock, a scientist and engineer, was the first to patent vulcanization of rubber. Then Hancock was awarded a British patent on May 21, 1844. 3 weeks later, on June 15, 1844, Goodyear was awarded a patent in the United States. The process of vulcanization was discovered accidentally in 1839 by the American inventor, that is Charles Goodyear, when he dropped some rubber containing sulfur onto a hot stove. Goodyear followed up on his discovery and subsequently developed the process of vulcanization. In 1844, Goodyear was issued United States patent. So 3 weeks later, on June 15, 1844, Goodyear was awarded a patent in the United States. What is vulcanization? Vulcanization, it is the process by which rubber molecules, these are polymers or macromolecules made of repeating units of monomers called isoprene, are cross-linked with each other by heating the liquid rubber with sulfur. So, the physical properties of the rubber can be improved by heating it with the vulcanizing agent such as sulfur powder, peroxide or benzoyl peroxide, diacumal peroxide, zinc peroxide, etc. So, these are nothing but the vulcanizing agents. The physical properties of the rubber can be improved by heating it with the vulcanizing agent, and it is nothing but a process of increasing elasticity while decreasing the plasticity of material. Cross-linking increases the elasticity and the strength of the rubber by about tenfold, but the amount of cross-linking must be controlled to avoid creating a brittle and inelastic substance. The process of vulcanization was discovered accidentally by Charles Goodyear. We know that raw rubber is soft and tacky or sticky and have low tensile strength, but the elasticity is maintained over a limited range of temperature. Such a raw rubber was found to be useless for making various articles and automobile tires and turbines. So, the properties of raw or crude rubber are improved by compounding or vulcanizing it with some chemicals like sulfur, hydrogen sulfide, benzoyl chloride, etc. The vulcanizing process, it consists of heating the crude rubber with sulfur, which is a vulcanizing agent, to a high temperature, and the sulfur combines chemically at carbon-carbon double bond in rubber molecule, and stiffening of rubber occurs by cross-linking. So, vulcanization, it is a process of increasing elasticity while decreasing the plasticity of material. It is a process of converting rubber or related polymers into more durable via the addition of sulfur or other equivalent curatives. It was named after the Roman god of fire, which is Vulcan, and it was invented by Charles Goodyear in 1839. In the process of vulcanization, the added sulfur allows some carbon-hydrogen bonds to be broken and replaced by carbon-sulfur bonds. The process of vulcanization cross-links the chain or polyisoprene to each other. The cross-link molecules create a three-dimensional network of rubber. Each cross-link is a chain of about 8 sulfur atoms between two long chains of polyisoprene. The vulcanizing process consists of heating the crude rubber with sulfur to a high temperature. The sulfur combines chemically at carbon-carbon double bonds in the rubber molecule, and stiffening of rubber occurs by cross-linking. Some organic compounds also act as accelerators, which are added to increase the rate of vulcanization. Vulcanized rubber is about 10 times stronger than natural rubber and is also about 10 times more rigid. However, it is still very elastic, which means that it can be stretched reversibly. Polymers that are elastic are also called elastomers, and the optimum amount of sulfur when added to the rubber, it is about 10% by weight. So for the vulcanization, about 10% by weight sulfur to be added to the rubber. If an excess sulfur will be added, that produces a very brittle and inelastic substance called ebonite. Then man-made or synthetic rubber can also be vulcanized, and the process for that is also similar, which is similar to that vulcanization of natural or raw rubber. So the properties of raw or crude rubber are improved by compounding or vulcanizing it with some chemicals like sulfur, hydrogen sulfide, benzoyl chloride, etc. So it is the vulcanized rubber in which chemically the sulfur combines at carbon-carbon double bonds and it will be replaced by that of sulfur carbon-sulfur bonds. There are different kind of additives which is used in rubber while vulcanization. These are accelerators and activators. So some organic compounds acting as accelerators are added to increase the rate of vulcanization. So accelerators are the chemical substance which is used in a vulcanization process to reduce the curing time, oxidative degradation of elastomers during vulcanization, and it has improved the property of vulcanizers. On the basis of vulcanization rate, there are different types of accelerators that are slow, medium, fast or ultra fast. So that is on the basis of vulcanization rate. So by the addition of accelerators, the rate of vulcanization can be increased. For example, S-diphenylthiourea, tetramethylthiouram disulfide, 2-mercaptobenzodiazole. These are different accelerators which are useful to increase the rate of vulcanization. So accelerators are nothing but the chemical substances which are used in the process of vulcanization. It reduces the curing time, oxidative degradation of elastomers, and it has improved the property of vulcanizers. There are different types of accelerators which are slow accelerators. These are the examples of slow accelerators: medium accelerators, fast accelerators and ultra fast accelerators. So tetramethyl thiouram monosulfide or disulfide, these are ultra fast accelerators. These are on the basis of rate of vulcanization. Then activators. Activators are compounds which are able to increase the efficiency of the accelerators. So to increase the efficiency of the accelerators, activators can be added. There are also different type of activators. Zinc oxide, which is ZNO, it is the most known vulcanizing activator and it can be used along with the majority of known accelerators. Second one, magnesium oxide, MgO, which is also mainly used to the vulcanization of the neoprene type elastomers. So 0.5% of zinc oxide is added which act as a filler and increase the effectiveness of the accelerator, and also it gives a superior product. Also the magnesium oxide, MgO, which is mainly used in the vulcanization of the neoprene type elastomers. The accelerators undergo fission into free radicals which then participate in cross-linking process. Vulcanite or ebonite, which contains about 52% sulfur, it has good electrical insulation properties. If cross-linking becomes extensive, then rubber loses its elastic properties and changes into a plastic form of rubber, and it is known as ebonite. The plastic form of rubber, that is ebonite. And the activators are the compounds which is able to increase the efficiency of the accelerators. We should remember which are examples or types of activators. These are zinc oxide and magnesium oxide. In some cases only 0.5% of ZNO is added, which also act as a filler and increase the effectiveness of the accelerator and gives a superior product. Then type of vulcanization. First, sulfur vulcanization. We know that in the process of vulcanization, the sulfur combines chemically at carbon-carbon double bonds in the rubber molecule, and stiffening of the rubber occurs by cross-linking. So, sulfur vulcanization, it is usually used for the curing of unsaturated elastomers. It uses a sulfur powder as a vulcanizing agent. We should remember it is mainly used for the curing of unsaturated elastomers. Chemically, sulfur combines at carbon-carbon double bonds in the rubber molecule. Then peroxide vulcanization. Peroxide is also vulcanizing agent. In peroxide vulcanization, organic peroxide such as dicumyl peroxide, benzoyl peroxide, zinc peroxide are used as a curing agent. This peroxide does not enter into a polymer but generate a free radicals which form carbon-carbon linkage with adjacent polymer chain. It is applicable to both saturated and unsaturated rubbers. So first type, that is sulfur vulcanization, it is applicable to unsaturated rubbers, whereas peroxide vulcanization, it is applicable to both saturated and unsaturated rubbers. What are benefits of peroxide vulcanization? Peroxide vulcanization, it is applicable to both saturated as well as unsaturated rubber. Transparent product obtained due to absence of sulfur. Here the sulfur is absent, so the product obtained, it is transparent. Product is more stable than sulfur vulcanized product because the carbon-carbon single bond is more stable than sulfur bond. So when we compare sulfur vulcanized rubber and peroxide vulcanized rubber, here the carbon-carbon bond is more stable than the sulfur bond, so sulfur vulcanized product is less stable, but peroxide vulcanized rubber is more stable. Then in peroxide vulcanized rubber there is no cross-linking diversion, but in sulfur vulcanized rubber the cross-linking is present. Let us see processing of rubber. Production of rubber is followed by processing into final product, which consists of number of steps like compounding, mixing, shaping, vulcanizing. When we observe processing techniques for natural and synthetic rubbers, these are virtually the same, and the differences being in the chemicals which are used to effect vulcanization. So production of rubber is followed by processing into final products by considering these steps: compounding, mixing, shaping and vulcanizing. Let us see one by one each step. First of all, compounding. Compounding of rubber. Rubber is always compounded with additives to satisfy the given application in terms of properties, cost and processability. Vulcanization is always done after shaping of the article. In this process, raw rubber is compounded with sulfur, accelerators, antioxidants and fillers. When all these are mixed thoroughly, we get sticky plastic mass known as rubber stock. It is then converted into sheets, tubes or other articles of required shape. Compounding adds chemicals for vulcanization, that is mainly used reinforcing filler which is used in natural rubber, that is carbon black, and other additives also added, that includes antioxidants, antiozonants, coloring pigments, plasticizers and softening oils, blowing agents in the production of foam rubber and mold release compounds. So the process in which raw rubber is thoroughly mixed with the different agents, substances, so that is compounding with sulfur, accelerators, antioxidants and fillers. When all these are mixed thoroughly, we get a sticky plastic mass known as rubber stock. Then second step, that is mixing. So the additives must be thoroughly mixed with the base rubber to achieve uniform dispersion of the ingredients. A two-stage mixing process is usually employed. In the first stage, carbon black and other non-vulcanizing additives are combined with the raw rubber. After thorough mixing, it has been accomplished and the time for cooling has been allowed. The second stage is carried out in which the vulcanizing agents are added. So we know the vulcanizing agents, that may be sulfur or that may be benzyl chloride or peroxides. So after thorough mixing, the second stage is carried out in which the vulcanizing agents are added. For mixing, the equipments includes two roll mill and internal mixer such as Banbury mixer. So that is the second step in the processing of rubber, which is mixing. Third step, shaping. Shaping processes for rubber, it can be divided into four basic categories: extrusion, calendering, coating, molding and casting. Before shaping, the desired color is imparted to the rubber by adding different substances like ferric oxide, which gives red color, chromium trioxide, which gives green color, then lead chromate gives yellow coloration, and zinc sulfide titanium oxide gives white coloration, like that. So before shaping, the coloring agents, desired colors can be added into the rubber. Then the calendering process, the rubber stock is converted into sheets or shaped into tubings or other articles by passing through a calendering machine. Automobile and cycle tires are fabricated with the help of coated fabrics. This process of making coated fabrics is known as calendering. If thicker sheets are required, several thin sheets are rolled together, which eliminates air pockets. In the processing of rubber, number of substances like accelerators, antioxidants, fillers, softeners, coloring agents will be added. When we consider about accelerators, we know these are the compounds which added to increase the rate of vulcanization. Accelerators are also the catalyst and reduces the time required for vulcanization. Number of organic accelerators should be added. Also antioxidants, which act as a age register, that is, it stops the deterioration of rubber article with age by light and air. These are also the complex organic amines like phenyl alpha naphthylamine, di-beta naphthyl, phenylene diamine, phenolic substances and phosphides. So these are number of antioxidants which may be added as age register, that means it stops the deterioration of rubber article with age by light and air. Also some fillers which is added into the processing of rubber. They increase the tensile strength and resistance to abrasion of rubber. Example, 40% of carbon black is used as fillers in case of automobile tires. Then barium sulfate, superfine silica or carbon white, calcium carbonates are also used as filler. Fillers also reduces the strength of rubber, but the cost is also reduced. So we should remember the importance of fillers and also the examples. Some plasticizers or softeners give more tenacity and adhesion to the rubber. For example, vegetable oils, waxes, stearic acid, which are most commonly used plasticizers. So, number of things which are important in the processing of rubber. Processing of rubber also includes the important step, that is vulcanization. Already we have studied in detail the process of vulcanization. So what is vulcanization? It is a chemical process for converting natural rubber or related polymers into more durable materials via the addition of sulfur or other equivalent curatives or accelerators. So what are the accelerators? That may be aldehyde amines, thiocarbamates, zinc alkyl xanthate, 2-mercaptobenzothiazole, where inorganic accelerators are also added like white lead, litharge, magnesia and lime, which are commonly used accelerators. So that is the actual process, vulcanization. We have studied natural rubber as well as vulcanized rubber. Let us see the comparison between natural and vulcanized rubber. So what is the natural rubber? The crude rubber, which is sticky and an elastic solid, it becomes soft and sticky as the temperature rises. But as compared to this, vulcanized rubber, it prevents the polymer chains from moving independently due to the process of vulcanization. As a result, when stress is applied to vulcanized rubber, it deforms, but upon the release of stress, it reverts back to its shape. Then raw natural rubber has elasticity over a narrow range of temperature, but this vulcanized rubber can withstand with lower temperature. Raw natural rubber has low tensile strength and abrasion resistance, whereas vulcanized rubber has better tensile strength. Also, natural rubber absorbs a large amount of water. Vulcanized rubber absorbs a small amount of water. Natural rubber having low abrasion resistance, whereas vulcanized rubber have high abrasion resistance. When we compare the solubility, natural rubber is soluble in solvents like ether, carbon disulfide, carbon tetrachloride, petrol and turpentine. But vulcanized rubber, it is insoluble in all the usual solvents. So this one is the comparison of natural and vulcanized rubber. Now uses of rubber. We have already discussed in previous lecture the number of applications of rubber. Let us see in brief. Rubber molded products are widely used industrially in the form of rubber goods and appliances. Rubber is used in garden hoses and pipes for small scale gardening applications. Most of the tires and tubes used in automobiles are made up of rubber. Therefore, rubber plays an important role in the automobile industry and the transportation industry. Rubber products are also employed in matting and flooring applications. These are also useful in manufacturing, also in textile applications. Medical gloves and other protective equipments which are manufactured for use by medical professionals are often made of rubber. Then vulcanized rubber, which is a special type of rubber prepared by cross-linking the polymer chains with disulfide bonds, is widely used in protective equipments in the sports industry. For example, the pads and guards which are used in the popular sport cricket and are made up of vulcanized rubber. Uncured rubber, which is known for its applications in adhesives and cements, making it a product of choice for the construction industry. Then insulating footwear and insulating blankets are often made using crepe rubber. Relatively soft variants of rubber are known to have a wide range of applications in the manufacture of conveyor belts. Then the flexibility offered by certain types of rubber make them ideal for use in printing presses and wringers for domestic clothes. Rubber is also used in the production of balls, and also it is useful in the production of balloons, cushions, toys, etc. So these are different applications of rubber, natural rubber as well as vulcanized rubber. In this lecture we have studied vulcanization of rubber and processing of rubber. In next lecture we will study synthetic rubber, commercial polymers, and also the properties, preparation and applications of synthetic rubber. Thank you.